In today's video, I'm going to be explaining how you can bring your spouse or your children to Belgium as an international student, or better still, joining family members who only have a temporary Belgium visa. Hey my loves, welcome back again to my channel. I'm called Flavine. If this is your first time here, hi! I'm an international student and I'm based here in Belgium. I'm originally from Cameroon, and on my channel I like to make immigration related kind of content. I also like to make lifestyle content, so basically showing you guys how I'm exploring Belgium and just living. So both permanent and temporary residence permit holders can apply for family reunion visas for their relatives to join them in Belgium. So this includes spouses, registered partners, and children under the age of 18 can actually use this procedure. But you both must be at least 21 years old or 18 years if the marriage preceded the arrival of the foreigner to be joined in Belgium. And if you want your children to join you here in Belgium, they have to be at least 18 years. Anything more than that, they cannot come under family reunion. Family members who intend to stay with you in Belgium for a period longer than 90 days will have to apply for a visa type D family reunification at the Belgian embassy in the country of residence. Please make sure that you check the Belgian embassy in your own country because the requirements may vary a little. And I strongly advise against traveling to Belgium for family reunion with a short stay visa. Okay, I will highly recommend that you always take a long stay visa, because if you come with a short stay visa, it's always very complicated for you to change the status of your visa. Now, one thing I like to note is that students, whether you are doing your master's, undergraduate, or PhD, you cannot apply for your visa at the same time with your spouse or your children. Let me explain. You will need to travel to Belgium first, apply for your own residence permit at your respective commune, finalize your admission with your institution, whether you are going to U Antwerp, U Hasselt, VUB. You have to finalize your admission there. You have to actually get your health insurance registered. So whether you want to use AXA, you want to use CM, you have to first of all do these things. The next thing that you need to do is that you need to find a suitable housing for you and your family members. Now, you guys know that as students, we can live in a room. Our rooms are cheap. You know, we live in student accommodation. But then if you have plans of bringing your family to Belgium, you cannot live in a student accommodation. You have to go and look for an apartment where it can accommodate the number of people that you want to invite to Belgium. Then another thing that you need to do is that when you've registered with your health insurance, you need to get a document. You need to register your family member or your partner or your child that is coming to Belgium with that same insurance company. Okay, so if I'm registered with CM and I want to, let's say hypothetically, bring my husband to Belgium, I will also have to register my husband with CM at once and then get a document for both of us before I can actually bring in my husband to Belgium. Another thing that I highly advise is that your spouse or whoever it is that you're bringing should have a visa or residence permit that is valid for at least 3 months. Okay, because when they get here, they still need to go to the commune and apply for a residence permit just like you do, and most times the residence permit will always be the same length like your own residence permit. So let's say that my school program is 1 year, okay, and then I come here and I bring my spouse. Best believe that my spouse's residence permit is also going to be valid just for that 1 year, nothing more, nothing less. It's going to be the same just like my school program. And just like how we do it every year, whereby we need to always extend our stay here in Belgium as international student, same thing with whosoever it is that you're bringing. So they will have the same extension just like you, everything the same like the student. So that's basically a rundown of what you are supposed to know. It's very simple. You don't come with your spouse comes after you. You need to look for a house that both of you can stay in. You need to register yourself with a health insurance company and do the same for your spouse or whoever it is that you're bringing. And then their visa is supposed to be valid for at least 3 months. When they come here, they need to go to the commune and register, and of course they'll always give them a residence permit that is the same length just like your own, and of course they have the right to always renew their residence permit just like you. So after stating all of that, we are going to go into some of the documents that will be required either from your end or from your partner's end when you guys are actually applying for a family reunion. So the first thing is passport. We all know that you cannot travel without a passport. You need a passport, and the passport must be valid for at least 1 year. So let's say that hypothetically, as a student, you will finish your school in 2024 and you want to bring your partner in 2023. Make sure that your partner still has 1 year before their passport expires, okay? And let there be space in the passport. So if your partner is somebody who travels a lot, let them have even at least 2 pages in their passport where their visa can be stamped. There is always a visa application form that you need to fill online. Just like us international students, we always have a form, our visa form, that we fill online. For family reunion as well, there's a form that your partner has to sign online, and they will need 2 copies signed and completed. So as an international student, when you want to send your partner to apply for a visa, you have to send them a copy of your ID card. So both the front and the back of your ID card, you will have to snap them and send it to them for them to print out. Because from your ID card, it will be very clear that, okay, this person is an international student and all that good stuff. The next one is a medical certificate. The medical certificate has to be completed by a doctor appointed by the Belgian diplomatic or consular agent nearest to your official place of residence and stamped for approval by the same agent. The completed original certificate, be it in Dutch, French or English, is needed to process your visa application. This certificate must not be older than 6 months from the date of issue. Applicants who are already residing in Belgium can contact their general practitioner or family doctor in Belgium to obtain a medical certificate. So your partner in Cameroon, they need a medical certificate, while you here, you need a medical certificate. Most of us here, since we have health insurances already, we always have our GPs, that's our general practitioners, or what we call the family doctor. I have mine, and I'm very sure that a lot of students have their doctor, that whenever something comes up, that's the person they are rushing to. So you have to go to your doctor for them to come up with a medical certificate for you, and then your spouse, in wherever they are, they need a medical certificate as well. It's the same thing with us students. When we are coming here, we need a medical certificate. You need to understand that in every country they have their stated doctors that they work with. So make sure that your spouse goes to the doctor that is being allowed or accepted by the Belgian embassy in your country, okay? So they get their medical certificate, and you also get your medical certificate and send it to them. So the next thing that we need is a marriage certificate. Of course, if you're calling somebody your spouse, you have a certificate to prove it, right? So we need a marriage certificate that is being translated. And when I talk about translation, is, for example, people in maybe countries like Vietnam or China that, you know, they don't English not really their first language, because your translated document either has to be in French, Dutch, German or English. If it's not in any of these languages, you have to translate it, and then you have to legalize it as well, okay? So you need to get your marriage certificate. If it's in Dutch, French, German or English, no need to translate it, just go ahead and legalize it. And also, if for example maybe your spouse was married before, they need to bring in their divorce letter or their divorce certificate, that's if applicable. And for example, if you want to bring in a child and maybe you adopted a child, you will need to show documents, or maybe it's a child and the child lost a parent, you need to show maybe a death certificate of the deceased parent. Or if the child used to have a legal guardian, you will need to show a letter from the guardian approving that you take the child with you, okay? But all of these other options are if applicable, that's if asked. But in most cases, you just need your marriage certificate translated and legalized. Another document that we need is your birth certificate of both spouses, okay? Again, translated and legalized. Now your partner in Belgium will have to send, that is the student in Belgium will have to send you their birth certificate for you to legalize it, and you as well, you need to legalize your own birth certificate and put together with your file. Another thing that you need is proof of criminal record. You can do it in your country, you don't need to do it in Belgium, but then your partner, wherever they are, prior to applying for a visa, they will need to show proof of criminal record. So in Cameroon, obviously we all know where to go get that. I don't know much about other countries, but then you can do it in your country. You need to show proof of criminal records, my phone. In Cameroon, we actually call it non-conviction. I don't know how you guys call it in other countries, but just know that you need to prove that you have not been involved in any illegal activities, okay? And then you need to show proof of consular fee or administrative fee. Now this is subjective to different countries, okay? Please make sure that you check the Belgian embassy in your own country, or better still, like what I always tell people, if there's anything that you don't understand, call them. So if you don't know how much you need to pay for your consular fee or for administrative fee, call the embassy in your country and ask them whether you're supposed to pay it in Belgium here or you're supposed to pay it in Cameroon. What I know is from experience and from talking with a student that I know that has gone through this program is that they actually did pay it here. So you have to pay the consular fee here, and it's not cheap. I think it was like 2,000 something. I can't really say, I can't give you a certain amount because these things change yearly, okay? So you need to pay this consular fee or administrative fee, and if they pay it, they need to send you the receipt because you need to put it together. Remember that even us as students, we have consular fee to pay. So for example, if I'm coming to a public school as an international student, I think I pay like 200 and something. I don't really know the stated amounts. If you're going to a private school, you have an amount to pay. So obviously we all have to pay consular fees, but then it differs. This one is family reunion, okay? So it will be very, very okay for you. Either your partner calls the consular officer here and ask how much they have to pay, or better still, just call your own embassy and ask, okay? It doesn't hurt. And then another thing, like I clearly stated from the beginning, is that the person here has to show proof that they have sufficient and suitable accommodation for both of you. So for example, let's say that I am here, we all have rental agreements, okay, that are being legalized. So if you want to bring in your spouse, like I said, you need to get a suitable accommodation for both of you. There is no way that you're bringing your spouse for them to come and squat in one room, in one student room with you. You need to get an apartment or a house that can accommodate all of you. And also for you to get that, you need to get your rental agreement, and in most cases it needs to be legalized and put together before your partner goes to apply for a visa. So if you have it in your head that you want to bring your partner or your child here in Belgium and you're an international student, get out of your one room. And then another thing is that the student here will have to show proof that they have sufficient funds that they'll be able to take care of whoever it is that they are bringing. But then we all know that as a student, that is really not the case. As a student, I'm going to use myself now as an example. As a student, I have a sponsor / a guarantor that is taking care of me, that is in charge of all my needs, everything that concerns me in Belgium, okay? So if I want to bring, I don't have any income that I can show. I don't pay tax. I only work 20 hours in a week. So it's clearly impossible for me to show any form of income that I'm earning these amounts that I can bring somebody. So what you can do is that, even for some of you that use block accounts, so it's either you are going to also block an account for your spouse, and your school will help you with that, okay? You can ask your school, they're going to tell you the amount that they can block for your spouse as well. So you can either block an account for your spouse, or better still, you can also get them a guarantor or a sponsor for your spouse. Yes, that's what you need to do, because it's very different from, let's say that, for example, somebody who has a permanent residence or a non-EEA individual but who is now a Belgian citizen, who wants to bring either their spouse or their children or any family member. It's okay, they're working full-time, they know how to show their pay slips and all of that. That's a very different thing. For us, we don't have any stable means or any income, because most of us only work like 3 times in a week. We are only allowed to work 20 hours in a week, so there's no way that I can show any suitable income. So what I can only do is that the same thing that is being applicable to me is what I'm going to do for my spouse, okay? So if I'm here with a sponsor or a guarantor, I need to look for a sponsor or guarantor for my own partner. If I'm here using a block account, I need to use a block account for my partner. If I'm here with scholarship, your school is going to explain it to you, okay, how they can help you with that scholarship. And also, if you are a student here and you are either under unemployment benefits, you will have to show those documents that you are actually receiving unemployment benefits, so that they are aware, they calculate to see if these unemployment benefits can actually suffice both of you. But then most of our students are not on unemployment benefits. We are not even EU citizens, so it's difficult for us to even be on unemployment benefits. So most times it's just showing, either getting them a guarantor or doing the block account for them. Another thing is that you need to prove that you are registered with a public, it can be a Belgian health insurance, or if it's a private health insurance, make sure that it's a private health insurance that is in the Schengen zone, okay? It should not be out of the Schengen zone. So like I said, for example, myself, I'm registered with CM. If I want to bring my spouse, I need to make sure that I first of all have health insurance, and I need to register my own spouses with that same health insurance, so that the government knows that when my spouse is coming to Belgium, they are secure here. They know that their health is secured. And as well, my spouse has to still have a health insurance that is valid for at least 3 months in their own country. You all know how you come here. This year, most students that are coming to Belgium have health insurance. They need to show proof of health insurance from their own country, and when they come here, they still need health insurance. So it's the same thing for your spouse. The only difference is that your spouse will have health insurance there, you will have your own health insurance here, and you will still pay for health insurance at least 3 months here for your spouses, okay? Because the government doesn't want anything that will burden them or come and add to their stress, okay? So they need to be sure that when they come here, they are medically insured. In some cases, they will even ask you for your flight reservations, okay? You're not coming here to study. If you have all your documents, it's always very important for you to just reserve a flight to show these people that I'm ready. I know that I can get this thing, okay? But not in all cases. If applicable, just reserve a flight. You know, just a way of adding to the file. Now, these are just some of the few documents. You know why I say few documents? Because I always believe that in every country, things can never be the same. For example, I was reading through the website of people from international students from Vietnam. I saw other documents that I knew very well that somebody from my country like Cameroon or somebody from Nigeria would not necessarily have to submit. So for example, let's say talking about translation and all that, I don't need to translate my documents if I'm from Cameroon, because why? We speak English and French, which are already acceptable languages here. But then in Vietnam, you may probably have to translate your documents. And another thing, I saw people from Vietnam, they need to show judicial record of something like that, and it was clearly stated there that it's not for all countries. Only people from Vietnam need to show that proof, okay? So if I'm not from Vietnam, I will not have to show that document. So do well to go through the website of the embassy in your own country to know all the documents, okay? Because you know that these things update yearly. I'm telling you guys the documents for this year, but best believe that in 3 months they can add another document or add something, okay? And also, if you cannot access the website, because so many websites, for example, the website for Cameroon, they don't have a lot of information concerning this. I don't know what is wrong with our Belgian website in Cameroon. They don't have a lot of this information, okay? So please do well to call, or better still, follow these instructions that I'm telling you here. Gather all these documents. If you are from Cameroon, these documents are enough for you. So you can still do yourself a favor by calling them to ask. And I also want to note that when your documents that are being issued abroad, so for example, you have somebody in Cameroon, you have your spouse in Cameroon who want to apply for the visa, and maybe you're sending them documents abroad, most of these documents will need to be legalized depending on the type of document. So for example, I was talking about your spouse's birth certificate. So if I'm here in Belgium and I send my birth certificate to my spouse in Cameroon, definitely they will need to legalize it. So most of the documents that are living abroad to go back to your home country, most of them will need to be legalized. So make sure that you tell your partner or your child that is joining you that they will need to legalize most of these documents. I'll still stress on the issue of translation. So if you know that your document is not in English, French, Dutch, German, make sure that you translate your document. Another important advice is that make sure that you always have original documents. So if you want your wife or your partner to use your birth certificate, make sure that you send them your original birth certificate by post. Do not photocopy or print out your birth certificate and send it to them in Cameroon or wherever your partner is. Make sure that you send them either with DHL, UPS, wherever. Send it to them, the original, because every you guys know that when it comes to Belgium, they always want the original, even though you have to photocopy 2 copies of every document that you have, but you still have to attach the original to it. And if you know that you are using a translation for any official documents, make sure that you are using a sworn translator. Don't go to Google and translate documents by yourself. You need to use an official and legally accepted translator in your country. And also, one other thing that I want to say is that make sure that every legalization that you are doing should be recent. Don't carry a document that you legalized 2 years ago to use it for this year, okay? If you want to do any visa document, make sure that anything that you've legalized should not be should not be more than 6 months or 3 months. Let it be at least 3 months old. So make sure that every legalized document is recent. And also I wanted to state, most of these documents that I've said here are just a basic documents. And what I like Belgium is that if they want more documents from you, they will tell you. I remember when I applied for my visa, I was granted a visa, but then they saw that my passport will not cover up for the time that I'm going to be here in Belgium. They called me and told me that I need to send them a new passport, and I was on my toes trying to get a new passport to send it back to the embassy. So most times your embassy will call you, or when you are going to apply for this family reunion visa, at the embassy they will tell you which other document is missing or what they need from you, okay? And please stay away from false documents. Stay away from documents that are not legal. Anything that will put you in trouble, please stay away from it. Remember, we all know that when it comes to Belgium, documents speak louder than everything, okay? If they just realize any little from your document, anything that is false or anything that is not true, best believe that you're going to be denied that visa. Okay, so we've talked about the visa, we've talked about everything. Let's talk about what happens to your partner when they arrive in Belgium. So just like what happened to you as an international student when you entered Belgium, when you got here, what was the first thing that you did? You called the commune, you booked an appointment, you carried your documents, and you went there so that you can register to have your residence permit. The same thing applies to your partner or to your child or whoever it is that you are bringing for family reunion. So for example, if you know that your wife is going to arrive here in any day, you can call the commune beforehand and book an appointment and explain to them that you are booking an appointment for family reunion, so that they can start compiling your documents before time. Because when your partner gets to Belgium, they have just 8 days to make sure that they go to the commune to register themselves and get their residence permit. Don't let them go more than that. So call the commune beforehand and book an appointment, putting in mind when you think that your partner or whoever it is that is going to meet you or be here in Belgium. So they also have to go to the commune and register like every other person. There's no difference, there is no preferential treatment. They will not come and sit and think that they don't know. They have to go to the commune and register and have their own ID card. And most times, like I said, the ID card will be valid the same like yours, and of course they have the right to extend their ID card just like you as the international student. The last point that I know that somebody is having in their mind is like, okay, Flavine, you've told me everything that I need, but what will happen to my partner if they come to Belgium while I'm still a student? Can they work? This is where I think that Belgium is lacking as compared to other countries. I really love what the UK does, because if you come to the UK with a dependent, they always call your spouse or whoever you come with a dependent. You come with a dependent, they are allowed to work. Nobody is stopping them. They are allowed to work full time. In fact, in the UK, if you come as a student and then you bring your partner, you the student, you cannot work. You can only work 20 hours in a week. But then you see your spouse has every right to work like any normal person in the UK. They have every right to work, whether it's 30 something hours or 40 hours in a week that they want to work. They are not restricted by anything. They have every right to work. But then you see Belgium, it doesn't work like that. In the case of family reunion, you don't have an automatic right when you get here to work. You know, it's very easy for us students. Once we come here, we go to the commune, we register at the commune. They will even give us an X15, and immediately the next day you can start looking for work and start working if you get the work, okay? But it's not like that for your partner. When you bring your partner here as an international student, they will have to follow other procedures that will enable them to switch that visa to a working visa, which is a very long procedure. It's not always an easy one, okay, to switch your visiting visa or your family reunification visa or residence permit to that of a working one. So if they want to work in Belgium, if you bring your spouse here and they have to work, they'll have to follow rules and procedures to switch their visa to that of a working one. It is not easy to switch your visiting visa to maybe a working visa, or even if your partner now comes to Belgium and they're like, I also want to go to school, they will still have to follow the procedure. I'm speaking from experience, because I know a student whose wife is here and I know what I'm talking about. And also, my neighbor came to Belgium with a visiting visa. She didn't come here with a student visa, but then when she came here, she applied for a school and got admission in U Hasselt. But then it took her months for them to switch that visiting visa that she came with to give her a student visa so that she can start working. Her residence permit only came out this year, I think in February. Since school started, since which month ago, and she only got her residence permit in February. So this whole month she was not working, she was not allowed to work anything, she was just sitting. So it's the same thing for your spouses. It's not always very easy to switch that family reunion visa to maybe a working visa or to a student visa. But is it possible? Oh hell yes, it's possible, but it's not as quick as compared to other countries like the UK. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not as if it's impossible. It is possible, but then just know that it will take time. It's not something that is very quick. Belgium, they are very slow with switching visas here and there. And even if your wife comes and they're like, I don't want to work under any person, I want to have my personal business, they will still need what we call a professional card, and it's still the same procedure that I'm talking about. Okay, they will have to switch their visa from what they have to that professional card. So that is it for my international students. So if you've ever been thinking like, oh my god, I'm an international student, can I bring my family to Belgium? I have my child, I want to bring my child, or I want to bring my wife or my husband. Yes, you can do it. You just have to follow these procedures that I'm talking about, gather these documents, and condition your mind that when your spouses come for a very long while, they are not going to be working. If you want to switch their visas, okay, you'll be the one to do a lot of things. But I know that you're capable and you're able. So let me know if you guys learned one or two things from this video. If you have other concerns as an international student and you want to apply for a family reunion visa, leave it down in the comment section and I'm going to respond to all of you. And also, if you are looking for somebody to help you with admission into Belgian universities, you are looking for a best friend that you want to ask questions concerning Belgium, you are looking for somebody to help you secure your student accommodation in Belgium, and you're just looking for somebody to ask questions, everything regarding Belgium, okay, feel free to book a session with me. My sessions are just 50 euros. With 50 euros, you can ask me all the questions on this earth and I'm going to be here to answer. So you can do that by sending me an email. Here is my email here on the screen. Or if you don't feel free talking via email, you can send me an Instagram DM. Here is my Instagram handle on the screen. We can talk, and yeah, I hope that I was able to help one or two persons with this video. But before we go, please don't forget to hit on the red subscribe button, like, comment, share this video, and yeah, I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Bye.